Nice to meet you.
Oh, it's great to meet you. I've seen so many of your book reviews and I think they're just wonderful.
Thanks. Um, so could you start by introducing yourself, telling us a bit about your background and what inspired you to write books?
Yeah. Well, my mom and dad always read to me, and my mom was a piano teacher. My dad was a photographer, so they were already kind of in the artful realm. And but I loved the reading. And so one day when I was 7 or 8, I sat down on the floor and I decided to make my own book. And I got construction paper, stapler, crayons, and I wrote the book. I did pictures. I stapled it all together and I made this little book that was 2 inches by 3 inches. And of course, it looked crazy. But the weird thing was, and this is what set me on the path to writing, the weird thing was when I looked up, hours had gone by and I had missed lunchtime. I love to eat. I always have loved to eat. And I thought, wow, this is wild. I've never had that experience where time goes by and I'm just
Mhm.
in another realm or something. So I thought, oh, this might be what I want to do. And it
Mhm.
is like that often when I write now. So that kind of got me started.
Uh-huh. I feel the same way when I read books, and then my mom keeps on calling me, come on, eat lunch.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's fun.
So what inspired you to write It's Not Easy Being Mimi?
I think it's because I have this little piece of kid still in me. And sometimes that's not good, but it really made it easier to write about
A
uh,
kid?
stuff about Mimi than it would have if I didn't have that little piece that I can get in touch with. And I wanted to let it out. So that's probably why.
Yeah. So how did you come up with the title?
Well, again, there's a lot of me and Mimi. And I thought it would be funny to use that phrase, it's not easy being me. And I thought, oh, Mimi might be a good name. Just make it's not easy being Mimi. And
Mhm.
Mimi also has that me part in it. So it seemed to just fit and be a little bit funny.
Yeah, it is actually funny because um so in my language, it's Malayalam, Mimi actually means fish in our language.
You're
And
kidding.
yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. I'm
Mhm.
going to have to use that in a future story.
Yeah. So like I was surprised when I saw the title. I was like, because I keep like at home I speak in Malayalam like most of the time. So then like my brain switched to the English side when I started reading. So I'm like, oh, it's a name.
That's wild. Okay, what language do you speak again at home?
Malayalam.
Okay. Wow.
Um,
Interesting, really.
so if Mimi had one superpower, what would it be?
Well, she can already slide down the drain spout, drive her tiny little convertible to school, and that's pretty super powerful. But I think it would really help her to have patience.
I
If
was
she can
gonna say
just
that, yeah.
have a little bit of patience, that would be a great
Yeah.
superpower for her.
Especially Boris and his dinosaur.
Yes, and a lot of other situations too. She
Yeah.
just needs to stop and think.
Mhm. So speaking of Boris, so where did you get the idea for Boris and his dinosaur, and also the dinosaur's additions throughout the book? Because like he had like golden tooth spots.
Yeah, well, I think that Boris, being the new boy, really wants to make an impression with his class and with Mr. Dayberry. And he really wants the dinosaur to be the star of the Christmas pageant. And he's lonely, and he thinks, well, it gives him something to do to make this magnificent creature. And I guess he thinks, wow, he could really impress people and make some friends. you know.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I mean, I did not think that Horace and Mimi would like do any good together, but in the end, I think they did.
I know, it was kind of sweet in the end.
Mhm. What caused you to name the place where Mimi lives Periwinkle Tower? Because I mean, I've read Periwinkle all the time. It's a color, it's the name of a fairy in a book I've read once, but I've never heard it as like a name of a place.
I
So,
know. Well, I was using it as a color. I wanted the building itself to stand out from all the other buildings in town. And
oh,
I
so
love,
you like made it the color Periwinkle?
yeah. So I thought, and I love that color. And I thought the word is so silly. I mean, the word periwinkle just sounds silly. So that's why I named it the Periwinkle
Mhm.
Tower.
So if you could give Mimi one piece of advice, what would it be? Because she needs a lot of advice. Well, other than patience.
I know. I think it would be to stop and take a breath or two,
To look before leaping.
and then just think for a second before she, whoa, reacts and
Yeah.
gets into trouble. Would be
She does
stop and
that often, like with the advent calendar.
yeah. And she didn't have much time there to,
Hmm.
she doesn't take time to stop and think. So,
Yeah. If you could have one more chapter of the book, what would it be about?
well, actually, we have the next chapter is in,
Ooh.
there's a second book, and the first chapter in this book picks up right where the first book leaves off. And you know how Uncle Albert, well, Santa sends Boris a gumball machine
Hmm.
for Christmas. Okay, so in the second book, it starts out by they put the gumball machine by the red couch in the
Hmm.
lobby and start a club called the Gum Club, not the Gun Club. The Gum Club. And it kind of starts out really good, and then, things come up. But that's how the second book
Yeah.
starts out, and it's
Mhm.
spring, winter's over. So,
Well, springs are for new beginnings.
yeah, yeah.
I cannot wait to read your next book, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I should send it to you.
Mhm. If you could add one addition to all those Christmas decoration, I mean, one addition to Boris the dinosaur, other than the ones you've already made, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Um, I guess I could use some glitter here and there. He did a pretty good job.
Yeah. Well, glitter would spruce it up, especially for his golden tooth.
Yes, yes. And I
Mhm.
did find out later that Stegosaurusi they don't even have front teeth, as Yoshi knew.
Yeah. Where'd you get the idea for the name Yoshi? Because I mean, last time I actually checked, it was like the name of a Mario character.
Um, I don't know where I got it. I think I just wanted a character that had a different name from most of the boy characters that I read about.
Mm-hmm.
But now I've heard Yoshi several times, kids
Mm-hmm.
named Yoshi several times. So I kind of like the idea that he had a little bit of Japan in him.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I guess that was part of it.
Yeah. Yoshi, Yoshi. It's like just rolls off the tongue.
I know, I love that name. I love it.
What was the most challenging part of writing It's Not Easy Being Me?
I think it was challenging all the way through, even though I laughed when I was first reading it or writing it and I would read it. But it was one thing that was challenging was that my art director wanted an illustration on every spread. So
Oh,
when you turn a page, there'd be another picture, you turn a page, another picture. And I did those pictures too. And just, it was like a puzzle trying to fit the words around the
my gosh,
pictures.
those are so hard.
I,
And
well, it was, I
yeah.
know it was. Sometimes I had to cut words and rewrite, and sometimes I had to add words.
Mm.
just to make things fit.
So, who's your favorite character in the book besides Mimi, and why?
That would have to be Tonya, because she's so bossy and she knows, she thinks she knows everything, and she's kind of rude, and it's fun to write. I know this sounds crazy, but it's fun to write about people like that. It's a lot more,
It's a lot more predictable.
yeah, and it's fun too. I don't know why. If you're writing about a nice person, it just doesn't seem as interesting, even though, of course, you
Yeah.
hope you're to surround yourself with nice people. So,
Yeah, well, I don't think book characters count.
but she's pretty fun. I mean, I loved writing about her and
Yeah. I would say that my favorite character in the book other than Mimi was Yoshi because um I like that he was trying because like he was always trying to read here and there, and I think that's a really good trait for him to have.
yes,
And he's
yeah,
just such a like funny little character, and he's so insecure with around himself, but in the end he like he plays a pretty big role, I feel like.
yeah.
I feel like he's like Mimi's best friend.
Yeah, he is, and I guess you would say he has dyslexia,
Oh
and so
yeah.
he's really having a hard time reading. But he probably is the smartest,
Hmm.
and so I know he'll get there soon.
Yeah. He always. Are there any interesting or memorable experiences that happened in your life that influenced into the book?
Yes. Remember when Yoshi gives Mimi the horrible haircut? Um,
Yeah.
I used to love to cut hair, and I cut all my stuffed animals' hair, and I did cut my sister's hair too. That was kind of a disaster. Um, oh, and also, you know how Mimi, the bead belt, she buys Yoshi the bead belt, she takes it
Yeah.
home, tries it on, and decides to keep it. Ah, I am always doing that. I love to buy things for people that I love, and then I want them back. Like, bought this for my sister. Can you see this?
Oh wow.
I bought this back purse for my sister for Christmas, and I every time I emailed her, I'd say, Margaret, have you used it? Have you taken it to the movies? Did you go to the, concert? Did you use
Yeah.
it? Finally, she got so fed up, she just sent it back to me. So, things like that. I do have that childish part of me still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good too.
I guess it
Because
is.
then, like, yeah. Can you tell us about the process of writing your book?
Yeah, this was weird too. I would one day come up with an idea about the bead belt. Then one day I'd come up with an idea about the bucket cake. Then one day I'd up with an idea about the dinosaur, and I sent them all to my editor. They were just different stories. And she said, I thought it would be a book. I guess I just thought it would be short stories. She said, oh, no, 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 we can't do this. You have to make all the little tiny stories connect together and put them into
One
one
huge, amazing
whole
story.
story. So that was, yeah, I hadn't written a book like this before. So that was interesting.
Well, it
And I
was
did
very good
like it.
practice, and it was very funny.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Mhm.
you.
So how long did it take to write the book? Like
Oh,
an
gosh.
approximate estimate.
I would say 2 years, 3 years, because illustrations too. And then
Mm-hmm.
the production part's a whole nother thing. So I'd say all in all, from the time I started till when it came out, it was maybe 5 years.
Ooh.
It just
Wow.
took, oh my gosh, it
How
takes a
long
long,
how long was the how do you say publishing process?
oh, well, it took a long time too, because my publisher's actually a picture book publisher more
Oh,
than anything. And so it just was
yes.
like for a while, I felt like this was a cog in the works, or just, but yeah, so I would say 2 or 3 years. So the whole thing,
Oh.
5 years. Yeah.
So, well, I mean, that's lucky because I've heard of other people who it takes way, way longer.
I know. And you think people say, well, you can publish it yourself. And I could have done that and had it out in months, but it wouldn't be good
Mm.
because my art director and my editor are so great. And it just, I'm very grateful for them. So,
Yeah. Well, even if it's a long way, slowly, slowly, it's gonna get done. That's
yeah,
the one
finally.
part about patience.
Yes. And I could use some patience too.
Yeah, I think we all could. I think we all could. Hmm.
You're very wise.
Thanks. If you could give one piece of advice to kids who want to become authors, what would it be?
Oh, I would say have fun. Just have fun with your
That's a good
writing
one.
and don't be self-conscious. Because when I was about 12 years old and I was writing, suddenly I realized I thought, oh gosh, too much of myself is coming out in this book. I stopped writing for years,
Ooh,
but now
smart.
I think don't be self-conscious. And because those little parts of yourself that you think might be crazy or silly or dumb or nobody else has them, that I think those things are what makes your writing great. Just
Hmm.
the parts that are really you. And so I
Well,
would
because
say,
like no one's ever heard of it and it doesn't become like a cliche or something.
yeah, yeah. So I would say just don't be shy, let yourself out.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be you. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's it.
So, if you could travel back in time and give one piece of advice to your younger self when you were just beginning to write, It's Not Easy Being Mimi, what would it be?
That's a good question. I think I would just make sure I wrote down every little scrap of
Mm-hmm.
something that came to my mind. A lot of times I'll be asleep, half asleep in the morning, and I'll get an idea. It's my best time for ideas. And I just will go, oh, I'll remember that later. And often I don't. So I would tell myself to write ideas down when I have them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, one time I woke up in the middle of the night. I had an idea for a book, and then I was trying to get a pen and paper, but I think I left a pin on the ground or something because I stepped on it, and then I hobbled back into bed and I forgot it in the morning.
Oh no, yeah. So you have to keep a pen and a pad of paper on your bedside table for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's great that you're writing too.
And also, one time I dreamed of it. I dreamed of one, but the details are not intact. But I have like the main idea because that one's like I feel like it's going to be a big one, so I'm just waiting for the right time to write it.
Oh, don't wait for the right time. Don't wait. Start it now. And I bet those other pieces will happen when you're writing, because usually for me, I can think about something forever, but I I think, and I'm lazy too. So I'll think, oh, I'm not gonna write anything till I have the whole thing in my mind. And that never works. So, but once you start writing,
Well, plus you're
things
not going to
happen.
remember each and every word.
No,
That's
no,
no way
but
of doing
still.
it.
Yeah. So I
I
think
agree
the
with you.
magic
Ideas
happens
are
when,
worthless if you don't implement them.
yeah, I mean, I think the magic happens when you're writing and
Hmm.
you have your pen and
Yeah.
paper.
Hmm. So what do you enjoy doing for fun? Other than reading, of course, because
Oh,
if you're gonna write, you have to be able to love to read.
yeah, I do love reading and oh, I love riding my bike
Hmm.
and I love having popcorn every day. And let's see, what else? Those are such good questions. I guess it's just making sure to get outside every day, even when it's freezing.
Yeah.
like it's been really cold here lately.
Yeah,
So
where do you live?
I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which sounds hot, like it would be hot and warm, but
Well,
it's been cold lately. So, and you're
I
in,
live in Florida. And
yeah,
also, well, it's supposed to be nice and sunny, but it's either freezing, like in the winter, or really, really hot. We only have one winter, which is very, very short, and the rest, we have no spring, no fall, only summer. Our leaves
yeah,
don't
yeah.
even fall down unless there's like a huge windstorm or rainstorm or something.
I know, yeah. I still think whatever it is, you need to go, I
Yeah,
just
maybe
need to.
like we should call Florida the land of two seasons.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
used to live in
over
San
here.
Francisco and it was one season all year round. It was always 65 and kind
Ooh,
of cold
it's
and
cold for
windy.
us. For us, that's like really freezing.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
that's a
We usually
wild.
like jump in the pool every day, but these days, that's like the last thing on our mind.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Hmm.
But I love being outside. I think it really helps.
Yeah, well, it does
Everything.
because like we have a hammock outside. I just swing on it every day and like breathe in nature, and eventually just ideas just start popping them up.
Yeah.
Maybe I feel like I should, when I get older, if I like, I'm gonna sort of, if I can, I would try and have a nightstand next to the hammock, or maybe a floating
Yeah,
nightstand that would move.
you should do that now. Yeah, you should do
Yeah.
that now. Oh,
Hmm.
wow. So are you writing anything now?
I've been writing like short stories, but none of them have been published. I'm hoping to get one published soon, though.
Oh, I can't wait. Well, when it is published, or I'd love to read it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just love to. I bet
yeah.
it's just really fun.
Well, it's gonna be like a little bit of advice I get from every author, and it's all gonna go into one book.
Wow, great.
Mm.
Okay, are you working all the time?
Well, not really all the time. Yeah. Plus, also, my parents like for me to like keep inactive and have extracurricular classes and stuff. So like I have like dance class on Saturday, CCD on Sunday. On Monday I have tennis and I have my tuition class. On Tuesday I have my coding and my abacus class. Wednesday I have tennis and tuition again. And then on Thursday it's only coding. And well, Friday's like my one free day.
Oh, wow. Do you love coding?
Oh yes, I really do enjoy coding.
Yeah.
It's like taking apart a puzzle and then putting it back together, but
Yeah.
completely
Mhm.
different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like we've been making apps.
Yes. Oh,
Hmm.
that's really fun. I took some HTML classes a long time ago. So,
Yeah,
you know, I loved it. And I
we're
loved,
doing it in the
putting,
form of JavaScript.
oh, okay. Well, you're ahead of me. But
Yeah.
that makes sense that you would
Hmm.
be.
So thank you so much for your time. Um, I've had a wonderful time talking with you.